as Prince Harry's hacking trial goes further and further on, you really find out exactly what the deal is, according to those particular people. And I think what's fascinating itself is with Prince Harry, as we've said before, his recollections, as the Queen very famously said, may vary, and it's something that could come back to haunt him. In particular, of course, it's always difficult, isn't it? Male pride. When it's knocked, isn't it? And I don't care how old you are, nobody likes that bit of a put down, do they? That could be said, of course, as the former royal Prince Harry finds something, shall we say, totally different in what his version of events are. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. Nice to see you. Hope you're well today. Yes, whatever you're doing. Lovely to have your company. Thank you also for your lovely comments about the Shakespeare on the Square. You see, this is what I love about this channel. I found out from so many people in so many parts of the world that you've been doing it for years. I've never noticed it before. You see, nothing's new, is it? Someone wrote that they'd even seen it way back, I think, Bard on Broadway in Squares in 1953. You think, wow, we've a lot of catching up to do. But thank you. That's what I love it. As I say, genuinely fascinating to find out what happens in other parts of the world. Back as ever to your breaking royal story. It's been difficult, hasn't it, when you think about it for Prince Harry, because he's obviously had to relive some of the most darkest moments of his life, particularly in his tell-all book, Spare. And more importantly now, as the hacking trial gets into full swing over here in the very heart of London. Some terrible situations are bound to come out, misdemeanors, indiscrepancies, whatever you want to call them. But you see, the big focus so far has been on the very first and warm romance of Prince Harry and his paramour at the time, Chelsey Davy. Now, of course, Chelsey was very, very close to Prince Harry for many years. But the story goes, of course, that she didn't really want to be in the limelight, and hence the reason she took a sabbatical and decided that royal life wasn't for her. Now, of course, the bigger story really was the fact that Prince Harry's paramour, Chelsey Davy, hit the headlines once again after many years out of the headlines, simply because he said the real reason why his relationship broke down with her was all to do with the tabloid press. She couldn't understand the scrutiny, didn't want it, all of that sort of thing. Now, what's interesting about this is, obviously, as we often say here on the show, recollections may vary. It's your version of events. Talking to very good close sources to Miss Davy, yes, she had a rather fractious time, as one can imagine, with Prince Harry. He was going through his own inner turmoil, but she cared for him very much, but decided very early on that basically the royal life truly wasn't for her. Nothing to do, allegedly, with the tabloid press. It was a part that she didn't enjoy, but she didn't necessarily see herself as a full-time royal, even if they decided, as it was rumoured at the time, to go out and live very quietly in South Africa. Seems to be that that story keeps coming back and back, doesn't it? But what's interesting here is, according to that source, Chelsey really felt that even if she came back for royal events, once again, the sort of intrusion on what she wanted was a different type of life. Nothing to do, of course, with William, Catherine and the King, King Charles, and including Camilla. She got on incredibly well with them all. But she just didn't want that type of role, that type of life. And she knew that if she came back for Christmas or Easter, once again, the bandwagon would start out. So she wanted something of a different life. Now, according to a very good source who knew Chelsey at the time, obviously, one might suggest that this could have been a very nice ruse to let someone down very gently, to say, I don't want a life in a spotlight, I simply want to move away from that and carve a different life. This is apparently something that the royal Prince Harry was very keen to do himself, but of course, well, for whatever reason, it never materialized. What is emerging, though, from this particular source is this: that Chelsey Davy had a very prominent time, made an indelible mark on Prince Harry's life and mind. And more importantly, it's one that he seemingly can't shake off. For many people, of course, they would have liked to have seen him marry Chelsey Davy. Obviously, this seemed a match made in heaven. But for Chelsey, it was nothing to do, according to that very good source, allegedly, about the press intrusion. Whichever version Prince Harry was told, or indeed assumed, seemingly it was thus that Chelsey wanted a life out of the limelight, not royally connected. Loved Harry, but wanted a different time. Very strange situation. And as ever, this is going to be the bigger problem for Harry moving forward. His version against other people's versions. And how on earth can any judge decipher that? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.